Thanks for taking the off-ramp to adventure. This is Derby weekend in Kentucky, but we are as far away from the 157,000 people that flooded the racetrack as we can be. We've taken a couple of wrong turns. There's really not a lot of signs to look for, so it's kind of curious as to where things are, but that's the whole day. That's why you're coming out here.
We're at an abandoned and very devastated place, but at one time it was a very popular place to be.
There is a huge story about Devil's Backbone.
Yeah, it's got a medieval castle or something like that. 300 years before Christopher Columbus came. The other way. See?
To select a message, please press a button.
This is the biggest adventure. Well, welcome to Rose Island.
We're Jim and Vanessa. Thanks for taking the off-ramp to adventure.
Okay, I gave you a sneak peek this morning of something we wanted to show you. There are some cool things in the hallway.
We specialize in showing you fun, inexpensive roadside attractions, great events and historic sites, with relevant information on some really cool places you might not have heard of.
Honey, I'm home. I think we're in for like what, an 18-minute walk?
I think so, that's what it says.
You got your walking shoes on, right?
GPS says 18 minutes walking.
There's a steep grade down to it. Okay, here we go. This is what we were talking about. Attention, very steep and strenuous trail. Do not hike down if you cannot hike back up. You, feeling cocky today?
Oh yeah, I'll crawl if I have to, but I'm going.
It started as a small park called Fern Grove in 1886. In 1923, a man named David Rose spent $50,000 to renovate the property and renamed it Rose Island Resort, with an expanded hotel, dance hall, mini zoo, roller coaster, and more, becoming the place to be to 135,000 people a year, gladly paying the 25 cents to ride the steamboat across the Ohio River to enjoy the day, until the flood of 1937. A devastating flood that left 1 million people homeless. Water rose 10 feet above the Rose Island picnic grounds, totally destroying the resort.
But there are remnants. Some of those remnants, no one really knew what they were. When we filmed this video, we were as clueless as everyone else. Even the state of Indiana had to have a geological survey done to try and figure it out, which they eventually did, and we're filling in the blanks after our original filming, and we promise what we found is worth watching.
You feel like you're being drawn down. I wish you guys could see how steep this thing is.
I don't think you can tell it.
You can. It's probably flat as a pancake on this GoPro.
All I know is there's a
place in case you need to sit.
sit on the way up.
Sit, rest a little bit. So far, this is an adventure to me.
I know.
Trying to keep control of your feet and not go tumbling down the road. We walked about a quarter of a mile so far.
Yeah, straight down. It felt like it was more like 1/10 of a mile because the gravity pulled us all the way down.
But then again, it felt like it was 10 miles because when is this going to stop?
No, that's going to be like where it's 10 miles when we go back up.
This is the bridge.
37 foot.
37 foot, and we're traveling back in time to Rose Island. You used to have to pay a quarter to walk across this because you couldn't get to it with a car, but the good thing was, once you paid the quarter, that paid your admission to Rose Island as well.
I like it. You can tell it's new. It makes noise when you walk over it.
It does.
Can you hear it?
Oh yeah. Can you guys hear it?
No, it's the metal.
No, it's down below us. It's where your feet are walking, isn't it?
No, it's the metal.
No. Either way, it doesn't make me feel any more secure. I can see why this would have been enticing to someone back in the day. I wonder why they haven't rebuilt it. Floods, probably.
Well, no, they put the bridge here in 2012.
No, I'm talking about Rose Island.
Oh, no, I don't know. Probably because of the flooding of the rising of the Ohio.
Just can't trust that Ohio River. This is it. Mysterious, abandoned, Rose Island. What's left of it anyway? There are a lot of people in the parking lot, but we don't seem to be able to find anybody
I don't see
here.
anybody.
Kind of makes you feel like you're here by yourself. A little bit of info. Steamboats, ferry boats. People partied. We're walking in to the heavily wooded area now. Doesn't it make you think of Into the Woods?
I mean, it really is. To think that most of these trees weren't here probably, I mean,
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
they were gone.
so 100 years ago.
Look at this, just completely overgrown. And this supposedly will give you some information sometimes. If you spin it, it's red.
The other way. Go to the left.
Rose Island. Rose Island hosted 130
You gotta keep going, I
during its
guess.
heyday in the 1920s. The 1937 flood destroyed the amusement park, and it was never rebuilt. During World War II, the property became part of the Indiana Army ammunition plant. Then, in 1995, the state of Indiana created Charlestown State Park, a 2,400-acre recreation area, including 860 acres donated by the U.S. Army, and what was known as the Rose Island Amusement Park. During the heyday...
Just when he thought it was done. We'll read.
First is the downhill thing, then the cranky thing.
Okay, we will read about the rest of it.
Some Gatorade.
Here. That actually is pretty cool.
Okay, here's the first marker. This was the 14-Mile Creek boat landing. That's where we just did the spinny thing and where everybody has evidently put their initials into this tree. But that is steep. Though there's no marker once you paid your entry fee. This right here looks like it would have been something at one time. You've got the road, but then look at this. This is very interesting. They give you a map when you pay your fee, which is like $7 if you're from Indiana, $9 out of state. But this isn't on it. They're not sure what it is. It looks like it might have been something where they had, I don't know, pillars that went up or anchored something that way. Not a lot of help, but it's still here. Nothing inside. No real base either.
When the people got off of the suspension bridge, they would walk this way, and you'll see as I go around the curve here, but the archway that you'll see was the entrance to Rose Island. And that's one of the bigger things. Actually, the whole, oh gosh, there's a lot more than just the two. So I'm just gonna give you a shot here, and then we'll take you up closer.
Yeah, we noticed the embedded rocks on the side through the entrance. And again, I can't see why they didn't bring some place like Rose Island back. I mean, it's a peninsula, not really an island, but it seems like with everything that's here, just the history of it would be such a cool thing to renovate. Again, part of the dance hall. Must have been a huge dance hall.
That structure there has to be part of the dance hall or something. No
Had
one
to.
knows.
I think it's decoration of some kind.
Yeah.
One of those fancy adornments that make you feel like it's worth spending the money here. I thought it was a fireplace, but I think it looks more like a fountain now that I'm up on it.
Oh, wait.
We're going to get it to work in a minute. Evidently, you can push these buttons and get a different story.
The dance that epitomizes the 1920s and is a symbol.
Let's get the next one.
I'm flapping in the background, you can't see it, but...
We
And
used to go to Rose Island for the Sunday school picnic and the school picnic out at Jeffersonville.
dagnabbit. That's not us. Of course, if you've got a monumental resort, you have got to have a monumental pool. They had one. We're gonna go check it out. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, when you go to a resort or a hotel, how important is a pool to you?
Well, it depends on the time of year.
Oh, I mean, you know, like June, July.
Yeah.
During the heyday of this time.
Well, think about this. 1920s, 30s. How many people had a pool? This, they say, was one of the first big pools that they had in the state of Kentucky.
It was. And it was
no, let me check that. Check that again.
No. It was the first one to have chlorination, I think.
In the state of Indiana.
In the state of Indiana. So, yeah.
For some reason, I think we're in Kentucky.
For years, we thought Rose Island was in Kentucky, but we found out it's not, which is why we've never been here before. Just saying. Of course, it's all filled in now, but it's huge. It's Olympic size. This is such a shame. Still got steps going down. This had to be the shallow end, I guess, because that's where the ladders are. Ladders are always at the deep end.
I would say this is probably the actual foundation for where people had their chairs. You see some of it right here. I bet it goes all the way around.
Here's something we never thought about when we decided to come out here. This was the 1920s and 30s, right? Look at this. They had no television, radio when it opened. The motion picture industry was still in its infancy. No computers, internet, airplanes, telephones did exist, but very few people owned them. Of course, no cell phones. You could actually come out here. Oh, there's the opening day announcement. There was nothing else to do.
This is an example of the ticket you got when you rode on the steamer.
This pool was huge. The water's cold.
Do you need a towel, sir?
Oh, please. Thank you. In case you haven't read about the 1937 flood, it was massive. It took out a lot of towns. We went to Metropolis, Illinois.
Yeah.
It got flooded.
It took all of Louisville out.
Yeah. Any place along
completely.
the Ohio River was toast. Look. Another one. I suppose it's my turn.
It is. Every other one.
Come in, Captain Nemo. Captain Nemo, come in. Anyone else
To
thinking?
select a message,
Oh.
please press a button.
I was thinking Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome. It's telling me to press a message.
Now go.
$1,300 was paid for 100 acres, more or less, as
Wow.
recorded in the deed book of Clark County on March 30th, 1886.
Your turn.
Okay.
All right. The other way. See?
To select a message, please press a button.
This is the biggest adventure. Swimming pool, with dimensions of approximately 100 feet by 42 feet, was reported to be the first filtered water.
Filtered water, that's what it was. Guess that's all we need to know.
It stopped.
I think we're tired.
It was pretty good money. They paid the lifeguards $5 a day.
Wow. Back then, that was a lot of money.
It really was. I made $5 a day in the 70s.
Wow, $5 a that back in the day, it was like, yeah, you were banging bucks. This is an official fountain, according to what my wife just told me. She knows all I don't.
Well, I've just
No,
seen
I'm
it.
serious. She
I've
really
read about
does.
it.
No, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, it's even got a water pipe. I guess it's a drainage or for the flow of water anyway. Okay, what else is over here?
That's a foundation of something.
This is like one of those scavenger hunts where you want to go find something really cool with a map. That's what this is all like. Love this kind of stuff. The deep, dark forest. Did you make a wish?
You know, it almost looks like there was like something round that came up.
We need
It's indented.
We're gonna see if we can find a picture. If we can, we'll put it right here. Wondering where the mini zoo was. Haven't found the landing or the mini zoo. I guess it's true if you just follow the path, you'll evidently come to something. Here's another marker up here. What is this one?
Oh, this is the Devil's Backbone.
Oh, this is where the castle is.
Yeah.
Or the remains.
Or this is the zoo.
No, that's the zoo. There's the zoo.
But the hill is actually Devil's Backbone. And there is a huge story about Devil's Backbone.
Yeah, it's got a medieval castle or something like
It-
that. 300 years before Christopher Columbus came.
The 1700s.
Yeah.
No, the 1100s.
Something. 300 years, 1492, 1100s.
Yeah.
Okay. Neither one of us do math really well, just so you know. But what's interesting about this is it's a wall right there. It must have been an extremely mini zoo.
A metal frame embedded in concrete above was most likely part of the cage that held the massive bear.
I don't see anything like that.
Embedded in the concrete.
Concrete. Well, I don't know where there's any concrete. It all looks like dirt and rock. But according to that sign, we should be able to see it. But, nope. Okay, this is it. This here. We just don't know where that is.
Here it
What?
is.
Oh, you found it?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
This right here.
Okay. You would have to look to see this, though. And this thing is bent, broken.
It goes all the way across.
A big bear. Supposedly from this metal beam, if you go up, it's what they call Devil's Backbone. And I can see why they call it Devil's Backbone. There's supposedly a medieval castle, the ruins.
What they have determined years ago was when they found it, is that they found a lot of rocks that had been embedded. So they confirmed that there's a foundation up there of stone. They put it in the books, there's foundation. And the way they can tell is because if you look at Devil's Backbone and the rocks that we see, you can see that people actually put additional rocks underneath it for foundation.
I don't think we're going to be making the climb today, though. We're thinking about that walk back up that steep grade.
Yeah, I think
I'm wondering, do we really want? Hey, maybe there's a simpler way to get up there.
I think so.
So, we're not the ones that try and take the easy way, but sometimes, yeah, why not? Okay, you got to imagine ferry boats docking here. This is the place people would come to experience paradise in Indiana. Huge riverboats. We still have a riverboat in Louisville. And I think Jeffersonville, Indiana has one too. This is where it all started for people. All that's left now are these pylons. If you look down there, trees, mud. Hard to remember what it used to be.
This puts the 1937 flood in perspective here on Rose Island. You go up this pole all the way up to the top, about a foot away from the top is the marker for the 1937 flood. You'll see a little circle around the top of the pole. That's where the flood water came. And if you come all the way down and you realize there's no way this place could have survived.
Okay, you think you've seen it all, but you haven't. Did you? We've got to go back up here. You game?
I'm coming.
Okay, here we go.
I'm saving my energy.
What am I thinking about? She's always game. She'll go anywhere. Up here is another marker. But what is it?
Did you see the foundation down there? It stands about this tall.
No. I have to go back and take a look at whatever that foundation is. What is this, though? The hotel. This is where the hotel would have been.
I would say this is part of it.
Little history. 4,000 passengers a day.
Not me. It's your turn. It's your turn.
I realized we could make this a lot shorter, but this is so much fun. Kind of, sort of. Looks like you're doing some history stuff.
To select a message, please press a button.
We went every so often on
Oh no, you gotta crank more than that.
Louisville. You would take a picnic lunch with your family. My mother and us girls would go up there. You would dock and go up a hill through an arch that said Rose Island. They had a picnic area there, and they had an amusement park. It had a merry-go-round, booths, little pony rides, and a swimming pool.
Just so you know, swimming pool really sounds good right now.
This whole area right here was just picturesque, and then this was the hotel, so the hotel was looking out to the Ohio, and all this in front of us that we walked up was just manicured grounds.
Wow. And as devastating as it was to Rose Island, if you dig into history, Louisville was the one who really struggled the most from the flood of 1937. They were devastated back then. We hope you enjoyed our tour of Rose Island. This is a fun place to be, even if it is just a bunch of ruins.
We've been wanting to come here for a long time, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, we couldn't find it.
We couldn't find it.
If you like this kind of video, guys, we really need your help by getting you to subscribe and clicking the notification bell so you know when we post a new video. We would really appreciate it. Bonus footage, look, we found info about the cottages. Look like condos in the day or a motel room. And there you go. Room service was 20 cents a person?
20 cents a person. So if you had a family of like 6 or 7, like
What?
the 20s,
20 cents, man.
it was like $1.40
They
to
charged a nickel for a glass of water.
Oh, here's the dining hall.
The dining hall just looked like a dining hall. Nothing fancy, just a place to come get some victuals.
But look at how it is. An enormous dining hall.
Yeah.
Right across the little walkway, dance hall.
Yeehaw.
Are you kidding? You get filled up on food, you go to dance hall, and you get it all off of you. You
Party
dance
time.
it away.
Party time. For those of you who stuck around, a little bit of bonus footage going back up the steep hill. Wow, we can do it. I know we can, I know we can.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna take us forever.
Oh my goodness. It's a park bench. Next one.
Yeah.
We're not trying to insinuate it's tough, but you know what?
Ooh, it's wet. It's really wet. But I don't care.
It's such a beautiful area. We can't help but, you know, sit down a minute or two and enjoy the scenery. Just want to give you an idea how steep this is. Let Vanessa start walking up. Maybe you can get a perspective. Can you say, wow? I bet you can. Can you see this bench? How crooked it looks? But it's perpendicular to the land. That's our second stop.